So imagine you spend, I don't know, 1,000 hours memorizing every single sniper lane on your favorite multiplayer map.
Oh yeah, we've all been there.
Right. You've got every spawn point down, every wall bang angle dialed in, you load into a match, and you're feeling completely prepared.
Muscle memory is just totally locked.
Exactly. But then you run out, and this time the entire middle lane is just, well, it's different.
Like completely rearranged.
Yeah, the building you usually flank through has been rotated, all your safe sight lines are completely gone,
Wow.
and you have to relearn the spatial geometry of the map while bullets are literally already flying at your head.
Which is terrifying for a competitive player.
It is, and this isn't a glitch, right? It isn't some customized private server. This is the new, somewhat terrifying reality of competitive shooters we are staring down today.
It really is a fundamental disruption to how millions of people have learned to play these games over the last 2 decades.
Absolutely.
Because the whole concept of map mastery is just being entirely rewritten here.
Which is exactly why today's deep dive into the upcoming release of Modern Warfare 4, which is officially launching on October 23, 2026, by the way, why this is so vital.
Yeah, it's a massive release.
It's huge. And when you look at the sheer volume of gaming news, the trailers, the rumor mills hitting your feed every single day, it can feel like you're standing in front of a fire hose of information.
Just completely overwhelming.
Right. So our mission today is to cut through all of that noise for you. We are taking the stack of confirmed intel, the developer notes, the structural leaks, all of it, and we are going to extract the core of what this game actually is.
Distill it down to the essentials.
Exactly. So we'll be exploring the heavy narrative fallout from Modern Warfare 3 and how that directly ignites this massive new global campaign.
Which looks incredible, by the way.
It really does. And then we'll get into the complete overhaul of the movement and gunplay mechanics and, of course, those wildly ambitious new multiplayer arenas we just hinted at.
The maps. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about there.
We do. Ultimately, we are examining how a blockbuster franchise balances the honestly suffocating emotional weight of its narrative history with the absolute necessity to just rip up the floorboards and innovate its arcade gameplay.
It is the ultimate tightrope walk, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have an audience that demands the comfort of the characters they love, right?
Sure.
But they will immediately penalize a studio if the mechanics feel even a little bit stagnant.
Oh, 100%. The community pulls no punches.
No, they do not.
But before we can even begin to analyze where this franchise is going in 2026, we really have to look at the emotional and geopolitical wreckage left behind in MW3.
The wreckage is the perfect word for it.
Right. The narrative of that previous game was just this exercise in breathless escalation.
From start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, we had the Russian ultranationalist Vladimir Makarov breaking out of the Zordaya prison complex in Verdansk and immediately setting global fires.
Just pure chaos.
Pure chaos. But for this deep dive, we need to bypass the macro-level hijacking of airliners and focus on the micro-level trauma.
The human element.
Yes, the permanent cost to the characters.
Right. And the climax in the Channel Tunnel is really the defining moment of that trauma.
God, that scene.
It was intense. Makarov attempts to detonate a dirty bomb, which would effectively cripple the United Kingdom's infrastructure.
And obviously force a massive global retaliation.
Exactly. So Captain Price and John Soap McTavish intercept the threat.
Our classic duo.
Right. But as they attempt to defuse the device, they are cornered. And Makarov is literally seconds away from executing Captain Price when Soap intervenes.
He jumps in.
He does. He successfully saves Price's life.
Yeah.
But the cost is absolute.
Yeah.
Makarov shoots Soap in the head, killing him instantly before disappearing into the chaos.
I mean, losing a legacy character like Soap was just a profound shock to the community.
Oh, totally unprecedented.
We're so used to characters surviving impossible odds in this franchise, you know?
Taking a bullet and just walking it off in a cutscene.
Exactly. So watching Price, Ghost, and Gaz standing on this lonely, windswept cliff in Scotland, scattering Soap's ashes.
Yeah.
It was a remarkably somber, quiet moment for a series that is mostly known for deafening explosions.
It really grounded the story.
It did. But that quiet doesn't last at all. The true architectural foundation for Modern Warfare 4 actually happens in the mid-credits scene.
Right, the mid-credits scene. This is crucial. We see Captain Price infiltrating the office of General Herschel Shepard.
The ultimate traitor.
Yes. This is the man who betrayed Task Force 141 operated his private shadow company military totally unchecked, and then somehow manipulated his way back into the good graces of the U.S. Congress to save his own skin.
Which was infuriating to watch.
So infuriating. But Price slips into his office and just assassinates him for his actions in Mexico.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because Price assassinating a U.S. general is a massive paradigm shift for the series.
Oh, it changes everything.
General Shepard represented the tether to the official chain of command. When Price pulls that trigger, he isn't just getting revenge for a past betrayal.
No, not at all.
He is severing the one remaining line connecting his team to global military oversight. It's like a fiercely loyal guard dog finally snapping and turning on its corrupt master.
I love that analogy.
Right. He has always operated in the gray area, sure, but he was a sanctioned operator. Now he's completely off the leash, operating as a rogue asset.
What's fascinating here is how this single assassination creates a catastrophic geopolitical vacuum.
Like a domino effect.
Exactly. Just think about the global board state at the conclusion of MW3. General Shepard, who controlled this massive node of conventional and private military power, is dead.
Gone.
Makarov, an agent of pure global chaos, is still at large and completely unchecked.
Yeah, worst case scenario.
Right. So the traditional chain of command is fractured, and the legendary Task Force 141 is effectively dismantled and operating outside the law.
Wow.
This is the exact structural vulnerability that invites total global collapse.
And that collapse is the immediate setup for the MW4 campaign, right?
Jumps right into it.
Because with the world distracted by the fallout of Makarov's terrorism and the internal bleeding of the U.S. military command, a massive conventional war kicks off.
A real boots-on-the-ground war.
Yeah. North Korea launches a full-scale ground invasion of South Korea.
Which is terrifying.
It is. We are no longer dealing with shadow operations and localized proxy wars. This is a massive, globe-destabilizing conflict.
And to communicate the sheer scale of this conflict, the developers are utilizing this really clever dual narrative structure.
Okay, break that down for me.
It contrasts two entirely different spectrums of warfare. The first perspective places you in the boots of Private Park.
A totally new character.
Yes, he is a young South Korean soldier facing live combat for the very first time.
Oh, wow. So no elite training.
Exactly. Through his eyes, you experience the brutal, overwhelming reality of modern trench warfare on a collapsing front line. You are just a tiny cog in a massive, terrifying military machine.
I love that, because if you contrast that raw, terrifying scale with the second perspective, it's night and day.
Totally.
You flip across the globe to play as Captain Price. But this is not the polished CES operator taking orders from high command anymore.
He's gone rogue.
He is waging a deeply personal surgical war to dismantle Makarov's network and avenge Soap.
Just pure tunnel vision on revenge.
Yeah. So we're looking at a globetrotting campaign that spans the entire spectrum of combat. We have the confirmed trench warfare in Korea, but the intel also points to hyper-close quarters combat deep in the infrastructure of New York.
Which sounds incredibly claustrophobic.
Oh, for sure. Plus high-octane chases, tearing through the crowded streets of Paris, and of course the return of those incredibly tense atmospheric SAS night raids in Mumbai.
Right. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this dual structure solves a really persistent problem in military shooter narratives.
Which is what?
Well, usually games struggle to balance the spectacle of global war with the intimacy of character development.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. You either get big explosions or deep characters, rarely both.
Exactly. But by splitting the playable characters here, they can explore the macro and the micro simultaneously.
Right.
You have the terrifying, overwhelming scale of a global invasion seen through rookie eyes, sharply contrasted with the surgical, intimate, and honestly disillusioned vengeance of a seasoned veteran who has just lost faith in the system.
That's a powerful contrast.
It really is the difference between fighting for the country's survival and fighting because you have absolutely nothing left to lose.
Man, that sounds heavy. But you know, an amazing narrative concept only carries a game so far.
Oh, gameplay is king.
Always. The friction point always comes down to how that chaos actually translates to the controller in your hands.
The actual feel of the game.
Right, which leads us directly into the mechanical rebuilding of the arcade shooter. And a crucial piece of context here is the development team itself.
Right, the studio swap.
Yeah. We know Sledgehammer Games took the lead on MW3, and they were reportedly dealing with a brutally short 16-month development cycle.
Which is just not enough time for a game of that scale.
It's insane. And that rush timeline resulted in some very mixed reception, especially regarding the campaign's pacing and certain multiplayer mechanics.
Yeah, the community is pretty vocal about that.
They always are. But for Modern Warfare 4, Infinity Ward, who are the originators of the Modern Warfare sub-franchise, they are back in the driver's seat.
And led by studio heads Mark and Jack, Infinity Ward has been very public about a big shift in their internal development culture.
Okay, tell me about this.
Specifically, they've implemented something they call Playtest Friday.
Playtest Friday, I like the sound of that.
Right. The idea is that the entire studio drops whatever specialized tasks they're doing every Friday to just sit down and play the current build of the game together.
Wait, everyone?
Everyone. They are trying to ensure that every single mechanic is fine-tuned and debated by the collective team, rather than being dictated from top-down design documents that someone wrote a year ago.
That collective iteration is incredibly important when addressing player feedback, I imagine.
It's vital, because a major point of contention in Modern Warfare 2 was that players felt heavily penalized by sluggish animations.
Oh, I remember that. People were so mad.
Yeah, they felt like their tactical options were limited because the game locked them into these really slow movement states.
Like you were walking through mud.
Exactly. So Infinity Ward is addressing this in MW4 by championing a new philosophy of unrestricted fluid movement.
Okay, so they're essentially removing the physical friction from the environment.
That's the goal.
Because they've showcased mechanics where you can seamlessly slide over the hoods of cars without breaking momentum at all.
It looks so smooth in the footage.
It really does. You can now mantle a wall and fluidly transition straight into a slide the second your boots hit the ground on the other side.
No more awkward pauses.
Right. You can even initiate a sprint slide and drop directly into a supine prone position while completely maintaining targeting control.
See, the underlying engineering goal here is to ensure the environment is something you flow through rather than something you bump into.
I love that phrasing, flowing through it.
Yeah, if a player visualizes a physical maneuver in their mind, the controller should allow them to execute it without fighting the game's physics engine.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because fluid movement means absolutely nothing if your bullets aren't registering where you point them.
This is the big one.
It is. Infinity Ward is introducing a brand new weapon-first technology stack that they are calling Ballistic Authority.
Ballistic Authority.
And the promise here is absolutely zero weapon bloom.
Which sounds impossible, honestly.
Right. I want to unpack the mechanics of this because it sounds like the shooter equivalent of turning off mouse acceleration on your PC.
That's exactly what it is.
It's removing the software middleman that tries to interpret what you meant to do and instead gives you the raw, unvarnished output of your physical input. Every single shot tells the truth.
That is an excellent way to conceptualize it. To really understand why Ballistic Authority is such a massive leap, we have to look at how traditional shooters handle inaccuracy.
Okay, give us the breakdown.
In most engines, to simulate the realistic chaos of recoil and movement, developers implement what is known as bloom.
Right, weapon bloom.
Yeah. Imagine an invisible cone emanating from the barrel of your virtual gun. As you run, jump, or fire rapidly, that cone widens.
Okay, I'm visualizing the cone.
When you pull the trigger, the game engine uses a random number generator to decide exactly where inside that cone your bullet will actually land. It adds a layer of artificial chance to simulate realism.
So wait, even if my crosshairs are perfectly tracking an enemy's head, if my bloom cone is wide because I just, say, slid around a corner, the engine might randomly decide my bullet hits the wall behind them.
Precisely. It creates a massive disconnect between player skill and game output.
That is incredibly frustrating.
It is, and Ballistic Authority completely rewrites this combat engine. It unifies bullet trajectory, weapon motion, operator stance, and target visibility into one single, highly tuned system.
Wow.
They are tying the bullet's raycast strictly to the physical 3D rendering of the gun barrel in the virtual space.
So no more invisible cone.
There is no invisible cone, there is no random deviation. If the physical sights of your weapon model are aligned with the target's hitbox on the exact frame you pull the trigger, the bullet hits.
That's wild.
By removing the random number generator, they are finally shifting the game towards rewarding pure mechanical skill. You are entirely responsible for your misses, but you are also entirely credited for your hits.
So we have this heavy fractured narrative setting the stage. We have a completely unrestricted movement system letting players just glide through the environment.
Yeah.
And we have this mathematically perfect ballistic authority ensuring raw input accuracy.
Sounds perfect so far.
But all of these perfectly tuned mechanics require a dynamic playground, right?
You need a place to use them.
Exactly. So we have to talk about the launch content, the multiplayer suite, and what might be the most ambitious or perhaps the most reckless map design this franchise has ever attempted.
Because the arenas really are the lifeblood of the game. It is where the community will actually spend hundreds, if not thousands, of hours.
For sure. So on day one, October 23rd, the game is dropping with 12 all-new 6v6 maps.
A solid launch lineup.
Yeah. And for the eagle-eared fans paying attention to the intel drops, one of those maps is confirmed to be named Transit.
Oh, man. A name that carries an immense amount of historical weight and speculation within the community.
People are going to lose their minds over that.
They already are.
I bet. Now, we also need to address how players will actually access this ecosystem, specifically regarding subscription services.
Like the Game Pass question.
Yeah, because a lot of people are wondering about this. Existing Game Pass subscribers will not simply have the base game dropped into their library for free as a standard perk.
Important clarification.
Right. However, there is a dedicated upgrade path. Subscribers will have the ability to upgrade directly to the Vault Edition.
Which comes with a lot of extras.
It does. It unlocks premium content like the Hunter-Killer Operator skin and immediate access to the Black Cell Season Pass infrastructure.
It is a really nuanced approach to the subscription model, honestly.
How so?
Well, it maintains the premium purchase barrier for the base game while offering a high-value friction reduction for existing subscribers who, want the expanded cosmetic and battle pass ecosystems.
Makes a lot of sense from a business standpoint. And speaking of expanded ecosystems, we also have confirmation that the DMZ mode is returning.
Yes, the extraction mode.
The volatile extraction sandbox that debuted in MW2 is back. You'll be deploying into these massive exclusion zones as an off-the-books asset, tasked with recovering advanced military technology left behind by this new global war.
I love DMZ. It fundamentally alters player psychology.
It really does. Because when death means losing your extracted inventory and contraband weapons, the stakes create this emergent storytelling. Totally. Every player encounter becomes a tense negotiation of trust, betrayal, and risk assessment.
It's nerve-wracking in the best way.
But the piece of multiplayer intel that I am absolutely obsessed with is this new map concept the developers call Kill Block.
Oh, Kill Block. This is wild.
Based on the engineering briefs, this isn't just a map. It is a dynamic architectural system built to constantly break the player's sense of security.
Kill Block is where Infinity Ward is really flexing their technical infrastructure to solve a very specific psychological problem in multiplayer design, which is map fatigue.
Okay, so conceptually, Kill Block is roughly the size of the classic shoot house map from previous games.
Small, tight map.
Right, a tight, fast-paced, three-lane arena designed for constant engagement. But the map is not a single static piece of geometry baked into the game files.
No, it is not.
It is built from 3 distinct randomized slabs or environmental modules. These 3 massive slabs are designed to physically nest and lock together seamlessly at runtime.
Which means the game is literally building the map's architecture during the loading screen, right before the match begins.
The engineering required to stitch massive 3D geometry together at runtime, ensuring there are no lighting breaks, texture seams, or frame rate drops, is just staggering to me.
It's a huge technical flex.
And the developers have built enough of these modular slabs that they currently have the content mathematically capable of generating upwards of 900 different combinations.
900? That's insane.
Though, according to the deep dive materials, their current technical stability goal for launch is to ensure 500 unique layouts run flawlessly.
Which is still a massive number. And by randomizing the layout every single time the lobby loads in, the developers are actively forcing players to process new environmental geometry on the fly.
You can't just run on autopilot.
Exactly. It is a brilliant way to cater to the 2 main demographics of the player base.
Break those down for me.
Well, you have the reflex-driven players who rely on raw speed and that new ballistic authority to win gunfights.
The cracked players.
Right. Then you have the tactical thinkers, who rely on positioning, flanking, and outsmarting the opponent. Kill Block forces both types of players out of their comfort zones by constantly refreshing the sense of discovery.
See, I have to challenge this design philosophy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it sounds incredible on paper, but doesn't this entirely destroy the fundamental meta of map mastery?
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Because a massive part of the competitive integrity of Call of Duty is putting in the repetitions. You learn the exact timing of the spawn rotations, you memorize the optimal pathing to capture the B flag, you know which wooden walls you can shoot through to hit a common sniper nest.
The science of the map.
Right. If kill block shifts into one of 500 different permutations every time the countdown timer starts, you can't memorize it. You are forcing players to adapt on the fly every single match. Doesn't that alienate the hardcore competitive scene that relies on predictability to showcase their skill?
That is the exact tension the developers are intentionally injecting into the ecosystem.
Oh, so it's on purpose.
Completely on purpose. Traditional competitive map mastery heavily relies on rote memorization and anticipation. You're often shooting at where a player should be based on timing algorithms, rather than reacting to where they actually are.
That's true, pre-firing corners and stuff.
Exactly. Kill Block attempts to replace memorization with spatial awareness and real-time adaptability. It shifts the skill gap.
Interesting.
The dominant player is no longer the one who has played the map 500 times. The dominant player is the one who can assess a brand new tactical situation, identify the new sightlines, and formulate a flanking route the fastest.
Wow.
It is a massive risk to the established esports format. But if it works, it solves the stagnation that sets in when a highly skilled community effectively solves a static map 3 weeks after launch, which usually reduces matches to repetitive spawn trapping.
Yeah, nobody likes being spawn trapped. It is going to be a fascinating, highly polarizing experiment to watch unfold on day one.
Grab your popcorn.
Seriously. So let's bring all of this together and recap the journey we've been on in this deep dive.
It's been a long journey.
It has. We are moving from the heartbreaking ashes of Soap McTavish and a completely rogue Captain Price in the wreckage of MW3.
Yeah.
We are stepping into the power vacuum that ignites a massive dual-narrative global conflict in MW4, contrasting the overwhelming terror of a rookie in the trenches with a seasoned veteran's surgical vengeance.
Just an incredible narrative setup.
And all of this narrative weight is powered by Infinity Ward's Return, featuring a completely overhauled, unrestricted movement system, the mathematically precise, bloom-free ballistic authority gunplay.
And of course, the infinitely changing, incredibly risky puzzle box that is the Kill Block map. It is a phenomenal amount of ambition, really, attempting to push the boundaries of narrative and competitive engineering simultaneously.
It really is.
But examining the technology behind Kill Block actually leaves me with one final, deeply provocative thought for you to consider.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, if Infinity Ward has figured out the real-time engineering required to randomize 3 massive slabs of a multiplayer map during a loading screen to create 900 different layouts.
Yeah.
How long is it until a multiplayer shooter just starts generating entire maps in real time, adapting the architecture mid-match?
Oh my God.
Imagine an arena that physically shifts its walls, closing off your favorite sniper lane, or rotating a building to expose your flank, specifically based on how well your particular squad is playing at that exact moment.
An actively hostile digital environment that is constantly trying to break your strategies while you are in the middle of executing them.
Exactly.
That is a terrifying evolution of the genre.
Terrifying, but entirely possible now.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Modern Warfare 4. We hope we helped you cut through the noise to get a clear, detailed picture of the mechanics in the story heading our way. Keep learning, keep questioning the mechanics behind the games you play, and above all, stay curious.